Thanks for coming back and checking this part out. Watch this bit and get to the end. Okay, looking at this, there's a fair few screws kicking about, still to be removed it seems, but I do want to point out, be very careful with this whole mechanism here, because that of course is your head to read the UMD, so be very careful of that. Now it seems like he should undo that one, that one, that one, that one, but I'm not actually going to do all of those, because if we look more closely, this one here seems to be part of the whole mechanism here, these 3 screws. So we're going to leave them alone, we're going to leave this one alone, this one alone, so we'll just undo this one and the plastic ones here, the ones that are sitting over some plastic, and see how far that gets us. Now doing that, it seems to be trying to fire up this bit of shielding here. That comes away really easily because this bit of plastic, it came up, so it definitely should be doing that bit, so that can come up and sit here as well. I'm running out of space now, there's an awful lot of bits. So now we've got the memory card reader on this side, that can come out hopefully. There we go, that's also got the Wi-Fi and everything, so be very careful with that bit. So now we have some mechanism for where the memory card sits in. So that screw there goes to this, so we'll leave that at the moment because I don't know how much is replaced inside everything else. So what we really need now then is to get hold of the whole cartridge socket bit for the UMD. So let's see how we should be going about that. There seems to be some more shielding here, so that comes away, that sits up close to the other bit. So yes, definitely it's getting this whole cartridge affair out now. How do we do this? Still trying to figure this out. The only way I can see of an attack is maybe the lower edges or something, you know, so they don't think you're going to do it, so maybe it's hiding there. No, not on that side. So now we're talking down by the battery area. Oh, that's coming away. That's one side. I'm not so worried about the case on this one because obviously I'm replacing the case, but you might want to use a very thin spludger. There we go, it's come away quite easily really. Actually demolished the plastic ever so slightly, but nothing you would notice, so that's hiding over there now. Right, so now we've got to this point, we do have the 4 screws like I thought. Let's change the point, because I was using a flat-headed screwdriver for that bit. So I'll get on with unscrewing these, which by the way are here, 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 and one down there. But again, stay away from all the fun stuff inside there. By the way, be careful of this spring as well, that's obviously for the door, we need to keep hold of that. Did that even come out at this point? No. So as I say, undo those screws, that's the screws undone, and hopefully the whole assembly will just pop out, which it does if you push from the other side, so be careful again because you don't want to ruin that mechanism. There we go, pop. So there's the UMD mechanism. Let's not forget this wonderful spring, which if we use some tweezers we might be able to hold it up. So obviously there's some force holding it in place at the moment. So I'm going to put the flathead screwdriver on again. Just, you can maybe see just down by there, there's a bit that you should be able to sort of wedge in. Basically using the flat head of the screwdriver, pull it back ever so slightly. You don't want to ruin the spring. You'll be able, it will raise the lower part a little bit. Be able to get your flathead screwdriver in there, hold it, and then with everything this way around, turn it clockwise, and it'll pop it over the bit of the plastic. Oh, it did do last time. Hey, try again. There we go. It just sort of pops off. So let's look after that as well. We'll leave that over here. Right, so now we've got a bit of plastic that we don't really need. We might need to come back and get that screw, but in fact, let's take off that screw just in case. Just in case. I know this video is waffling on a little bit, but this is me going through it pretty much in real time. So there's the last screw, we'll leave that on the last row. That gives you all that bits and pieces. I'll put that there, but this bit, I personally don't need this now because I have the whole new case. So put that one to the side. Let's get all this out of here now. Don't need the elastic band. Buttons we'll need later on. All the shoulder buttons and everything I'll need later on as well, which is great because I'd saved them anyway, but they were there. There's lots of screws in here already for this particular case. But what I'm going to try to get by using the original ones as much as possible, because there's no actual instructions for this, is what I do find amazing. They don't tell you which screws go where, and this is the case I have decided. Rustle, rustle, rustle. And we've got a lot of protection on the front there. Oh, something's rattling around. What we've got? I think it's actually screwed together. It's not. Is it screwed together? Believe it or not, it's actually screwed together. So I'm going to have to undo this. Oh, there's that little bit there. So let me, is this really screwed? No, it's not screwed together. So that last screw was a waste of time because it is there anyway. I thought it might be. That's there. I need to be able to take this off. I need to be able to get all that cage stuff in here, so ever so gently again with the top part. Let's put the face of it just out of shot. Okay, with the back bit. Is it possible to? No, if they're gonna have to. There we go. That came away ever so easily. Don't need the back bit right this minute. Actually, what am I being silly for? Don't need that bit just yet. Alright, now this is the bit of where we do things backwards. So the one screw we don't need is the last one that I took out, was for the memory card bit. So I don't need that one, so I'm just putting that in this little bit here so I don't lose it, just in case I do decide to use it at some point. But and obviously the battery compartment can go there. Right. Okay, one thing I want to point out is that if the grommets do not come across when you're stealing all this from the old case, make sure that they do, and if they do stay on the old one, just take them off, use a pair of sharp tweezers, and you can gently ease them back into place by doing that. But let's get the spring back on, which is over here. Now I'm going to try to get this on while on camera. This is a bit fiddly because there is a bit, it's got to fit above and below all at the same time. So I'm lining it up with the lower half and then pushing with my nail and pulling with my other nail. Come on. Really trying not to break any of the plastic. There we go. That's the direction it needs to go, because obviously the door's going to close that way. Can I get this cage on here now then? Because that would have been impossible to do if we had put the cage in place. I've got to be careful. One thing I am noticing is that this plastic is not as tough as the original one. But let's get the 4 screws in. So obviously working backwards. So top of the case is at the top of the case, starting at the bottom right. I'm not going to tighten it all the way straight away because obviously there's 4 of them and I want to balance that out afterwards. So as always, start with a slight twist backwards until you hear a click and then go forwards. So anti-clockwise, then clockwise. So I'm not going to tighten completely at first, but then let me do all that now. Okay, so we're fitting the back bit on. Now you may not notice from there, but there is a tiny little valley conduit of where the spring's supposed to slide up and down. So when you're putting the spring in there, make sure it's in there, because otherwise it's going to make a lot of funny crunching noises and everything. Not that I know by experience, of course. Let's make sure that's in, and then squeeze at the top here. There we go. Nice smooth movement. It's not trapping shut yet because we still need to get the rest of the stuff in. So next bit is this bit. That sits just there. The next bit I believe is this bit. I hope it is. Let's see if we can get this in here. This was quite difficult to take out first time around. See if we can actually get to sit in the right spot. Is that it there? No, it's not quite sitting. Let's mess around a little bit. Oh, that was fun. It didn't want to snap into place and a little bit of force was needed and it suddenly went in. I'm not taking it back out again just to show you, but that wasn't a happy experience. It was actually starting to flex the board and there was no way I could get the memory card inside. But then I played around a little bit more and it just went pop, and that was it. So be careful when you're doing it. The next bit we need is this bit. If you remember, you know, the original version was just completely black. So now I believe, oh, which way does this go? I believe it's this way. Another one of where maybe it just has to pop just into the correct place. There we go. Is that there even? Go on the other side first. So trying to get this piece on, it does go down here, but this post is far too high. if you have a look, let me move this bit of plastic out of the way. If you look at the height of the post, you can just see it's here. Look how high it is compared to the edge, and then look how high it is on that one. It's a lot lower down, so some crafting work's going to have to happen. So it means actually taking this PCB back out again because I don't want to mess up. Hopefully now that it's gone in properly, but that's pretty bad that that post is so high. The bit of plastic at the side here, can I zoom in enough? There we go. Try to see. So we're looking at this post and how high it is compared to this bit of plastic here. Compared to how high it is on this one compared to that bit of plastic. So it's far too high. So yes, I'm going to have to chop a bit off. Hopefully you can see that I've managed to snip some of the plastic off. I've used a craft knife, I've used my snips, and I've used the pointy tweezers to open up the hole again, so hopefully a screw can fit in. So let's try this again. Let's zoom out a fair bit so that you can see the bits of plastic I've chopped off. Let's oh, what a mess of everything around, but let's try. So we need this bit of metal again, and then we need this PCB. It does seem to fit an awful lot easier now. It's been fitted once, and then fit this again. There we go. Lovely fit now, that will hold into place. So what's next? So we're on to this bit now, and how does this go? Does it fit?
Holding down.
So the next bit is this bit. This is where I've messed up a little bit. This plastic bit shouldn't go down just yet. But this shielding should do. It might be a little bit fiddly to get it to go in because it is made of very thin metal. I'm trying to get it to sit where it's supposed to sit, but I've got a feeling another post is too high up. Is it? No, that post is supposed to be that high, so it's just the way that the metal is sitting. So we move this piece of plastic again here. There we go, that's holding that in place, that's in place. So now we need to start screwing things down again. Okay, so working backwards, we've got that screw, and that screw. That's the way that I did them before. Oop. Not there. I'll just get on with doing these three. Okay, before I put in the PCB, you may have realised I've emptied stuff out of other stuff. It's because of the original one that I had, the little infrared bit. I believe it's infrared. I haven't had a PSP in ages. Was missing, so I've managed to find that bit and put that in. So now we need to line up the PCB, being very careful of the different bits. Oh, while I remember, is this is not a battery, it's a supercapacitor, and it's there to basically, when you're changing out your main battery, it doesn't forget the date and all that fun stuff. worst case scenario, it just means if it has gone, you'll lose all your data for that sort of stuff while you're swapping the battery out, or you let the battery go completely dead. So don't. Simple as that. If this has started to fail, it may well be that the first time around it seems to be completely dead, and it's because you've not charged it for quite some time. Especially at the age that it is now. It's supposed to remember for quite a while, but it doesn't seem to at this age. So we'll see how well we get along with that. But in the meantime, let's get this set in here. So be careful of the two ribbon cables that you have got to play around with. There's this one and this one. I know there's probably some people saying, do the power mod, which basically means the the mini USB can go to the power port and everything like that to get charged. I'm just not bothering with that. Simple as that. I'm just not bothering because there's no real point for me, because I have the cable. But what I'm trying to do is make sure everything fits now. So obviously by doing the USB bit first, that seemed to work. Let's try again. There seem to be some difficulties with making this perfectly fit. Whoever's designed this case is obviously, they are off by millimeters and things in it. That is annoying. So for now, what have I missed here? Is that going to be part of the cage when that goes on? That seems to be in now. Can't really complain with that. If it's a problem, I'm going to have to figure that out later on. So next bit is to put the speakers back in. So let's do the long one first. There we go. Just slide that in. So if you just slide that in there, and then we'll slide the other one in. And then we can gingerly hook these up using our very fancy tweezers. That's that one. Let's take that down if it will stay. It's just not working, that tape, it's all dried up, so I'm going to get my Captain tape. So that's the end of that bit. Do all the normal stuff, subscribe, all that fun stuff. On to the next bit.